So as I do after almost every England game is to rate the players. This game against Japan, it went pretty well, to be honest, as well as I could have hoped. It's quite good preparation for New Zealand. Of course, New Zealand are a massive step up, but I mean, England got a great workout in defence. They got to play their attacks, their set piece, and they got a great fitness workout, and their fitness looked pretty good, and it was really hot and humid, so I quite like this. Good preparation. They're off to New Zealand. It's going to be a huge step up, as I say, but mainly fairly positive. Ratings, I go out of 10. I've tried to not go 0.5s because, as people point out, that's just rating them out of 20, but who knows, I might go back to that at some point, but out of 10. Now, every time I look at these ratings, I kind of change them, but I think I'm fairly settled now. I'll explain why I've given what I've given. You tell me how close you think I am, because people can watch the same game and have completely different opinions, but I'm kind of looking for different things from different players as well. So anyway, into the front row, and I'm giving Bevan Rodd a 4, which sounds a bit harsh because he worked really hard and he was full of energy, but this was his big audition, I felt. You know, Genji's out, Baxter's been probably the form young loosehead in the Premiership. Rodd gets a start and he kind of fluffed his lines a bit. The scrum, he really struggled, and this is against Japan, who aren't the biggest scrummaging side, so eager in the loose, but nothing eye-catching, and he could well have played his way out of New Zealand. Now, Jamie George, I'm giving a 5, and many of you may think he may be worth a 6 or a bit higher, but I'm just thinking solid basics aren't really going to be good enough to beat the best in the world. In defence, he is painfully slow sometimes. He got ran around so easily once or twice. His basics are really solid, line out, etc. But when Theo Dan comes on, his basics are just as good. Of course, he doesn't have the experience, but Theo Dan is so much more explosive and quicker. I am struggling to see Jamie George as that world-class hooker anymore. Let me know if you think I'm wrong. I'm saying a 5, solid but not spectacular. Alongside Dan Carwin, for 37 years old, fitness-wise, you've got to be impressed. However, in elite sport, it's only performance on the pitch that matters, and Cole was again solid, scrummaging improved through the match. Reliable, solid, yeah, they're the best words I can say about Cole and George. Kind of the front row in total was okay, and Rodd, like I said, disappointing for that big audition. The second row pairing of Itoje and Martin, I'm giving 6. They hit hard, they carried hard, did some good basics. Maro Itoje, good line-out work, good restart work. George Martin, good maul work. It wasn't amazing. They let the back row do the eye-catching stuff, but it was good graft. Definitely the first choice pairing. Solid 6s, happy with their outing. On to the back row, which I was really impressed with. I'm giving Chandler Cunningham-South an 8 actually. He dropped the initial kickoff, which worried me, but from then on, he really improved, and his power, his leg drive in the carry is so important. Decent option in the line out as well. Big tackles, absolutely melted a few people. It would be lovely if it was a 1-2 with him and Ted Hill, because they are quite similar. But Hill isn't here, Cunningham South is, and to me he looks like an international blindside for absolute sure, and he could become world class. I think that's 100% possible for him. Sam Underhill and Ben Earl, I'm both giving 7s. I thought they were very effective. Underhill, he went after the breakdown, but the ref was very hot on that, so that kind of went both ways there. But sharp, fit, powerful, 27 years old, he is absolutely peaking right now in 2024, so really good news for England. And Ben Earl started quiet again, but grew into the game. So much energy, always on the spot, got his try, of course, at the centre of attention. And you say centre, we saw him fill in at centre as well. And I seem to remember somebody suggesting that maybe that's not such a daft idea on occasions. So that was quite interesting to see. So 7 for Underhill and Earl. Alex Mitchell was another 7. I was really pleased with him. His nuts and bolts were spot on. Sometimes his passing can be a little bit off, but that was on point. His kicking was on point, and he's always a danger in attack. Took his try really well, reaffirmed his first choice status, so well played Alex Mitchell. Then Marcus Smith, I'm giving top billing of 9. Now, you know, I like Marcus Smith. Sometimes I get flack saying I like him too much, but he needed a big performance because he hasn't really had that sort of performance for England. And yes, I know it's against Japan, not against one of the big boys, but he did really everything he needed to do, particularly in attack. He showed the full variety, that is for sure. searing pace for his try. He actually showed and goed as well and stepped. It was really impressive. Wristy loopy pass for a try out wide for Faye-Wabusu, crossfield kick for Slade, and some good tactical kicks as well. He's not ever going to be the biggest defender, that is true. His goal kicking started well, but then missed a couple as well. So not perfect, but I think one of his best outings for England and in attack looked absolutely spot on, and he looks to have nailed on that first choice. Now Ford is out. In the centres, I'm giving Ollie Lawrence a 7, which is kind of high, and I understand if you're saying he doesn't make the right decisions out wide, for example, when he's in the clear, and that is true, but he did what we needed for Ollie Lawrence, and we could see that he's taking the ball up really hard. He created tries, plus his wraparound play for that lovely Marcus Smith try was spot on, so I'm maybe marking him up a bit because we needed that from Ollie Lawrence, because we need a 12 at the moment. Is he going to be the answer long term? I don't know, but Lawrence and Slade forming a nice combination, starting to settle. Slade I'm marking down mainly because my biggest gripe with Henry Slade is something he's probably been told to do that's not his fault, but still it's going wrong, is shooting up really fast in defence, getting stepped easily. That happened twice, and that puts the whole defensive line in trouble. So he's trying to make those hero tackles, which obviously he's told to shoot up, but it's not working. However, he does continue to be silky smooth in all other aspects, some good decisions, good kicking as well, very valuable, and a good combo with that power inside him of Ollie Lawrence. Emmanuel Faye-Wabusu, I'm giving a 6. This was really good learning for him. He got stuck in, made a few mistakes. He just needs to know when to step out and when to step in defence as his main thing, but some good work. Defence, he loves to smash. Decent under the high ball, some slippery running. He's going to have slightly better games, but a really good run out, and he's going to be so much better for it. Tommy Freeman had a decent game, low error player, we know that. Defends very, very well. Good under the high ball. Disappointed he didn't feature much in attack with so many tries. And he left with an injury, so we'll see how he goes. Could be in doubt, which is a shame because he's a proven international performer with great all-round skills. Furbank I'm giving a 6 as well. If it's a highlights reel you're after, he probably wouldn't feature that much, but I'm not after that from Furbank at the moment because I want to see him being really reliable, good decisions, and he seemed very assured, that is for sure. Just enough pace to create that outside overlap or create some doubt, which Freddie Stewart couldn't do. Decent punting from hand as well. Liked his performance a lot. Didn't set the world alight, but I don't mind that. 6 out of 10 for him. First choice 15 for sure. Onto the bench, and the most eye-catching was Theo Dan. I am just a massive fan, and it's just a matter of time. When does he become the starter? He looks to be absolutely ready now, but of course George has got the experience. Langdon, I think, maybe got an injury, which isn't why he's touring, and we've got Ogre, who's inexperienced. So is he going to start on this tour? Probably not, but he is so ready. Joe Marler and Will Stewart coincided with the scrum getting better, so fair play to them, but I can only really give 5s because they don't give a lot else, to be honest. Charlie Ewells, well, it's a 0. Of course it is. First involvement, a penalty. Second involvement, yellow card that went to a red card. And he nearly wrecked the knee of one of the best players of all time for Japan, of Michael Leach, which would have been unforgivable. Luckily, Leach had his leg up. It was a really nasty thing to see. If we could go negatives for Ewells, I think I would have gone negatives because I just hated that so much. Second red card for England. No one else is picking him for England. Solid performer for club. I think it's got to be over for him. There's going to be a call-up for someone else, I imagine. Is it going to be Nick Ezekwe, who would be the safer call? Would it be Arusi Tuima, which would be the development call, very exciting? Or could you go a little bit left field and say Ted Hill comes as an emergency second row, which he has done before, and comes as a big 6 replacement as well for someone like Chandler Cunningham South. Tom Curry came on, and great to see him back in an England shirt, but kind of chasing the game a little bit. Couldn't really influence it, didn't have a huge amount of time of course, but 5 out of 10, he's going to get better. But if he's going to feature against New Zealand, this was vital. He came through the game absolutely fine. He's going to have better games, but he's back in it now. Harry Randall, really interesting one here. I'm giving him 6. It could have been lower because his box kicks were so poor, but 3 in a row, far too short. And when you're playing the best sides in the world, say a South Africa or a New Zealand, you just can't do that. But then the rest of his game looks so good. He is so fast to the ruck, it's ridiculous. You literally blink your eyes and he's at the back of the ruck, getting the ball away. So sharp spotting the break as well. It's just a shame he can't kick it's been his thing for a while, and this was the game to prove that he could do it. Those 3 in a row, I think, has just sunk his chances of playing against New Zealand. Then Finn Smith came on for the yellow-carded Marcus Smith, and unfortunately, his first involvement was a really bad missed tackle on Yamamoto, which eventually cost England a try, which is a shame for someone who can boom so much in defence for Northampton. So he's going to have better games. Didn't have too much time after that, but 4 out of 10, I'd say. Then Tom Roebuck, he came onto the wing, and the first touch he had was absolutely stellar. Beat a couple of players. Didn't have a lot to do after that, but looking decent. If Tommy Freeman is injured, he is a massive shout to start on the wing because he's so tall and good under the high ball, like Tommy Freeman. But we will see. Good introduction for Roebuck for a debut. So those are my scores. Those are my reasonings. I'd love to know what yours would be. I'm sure they'll be different in many respects because it's so subjective. Pop them below, like, subscribe if you're into these sorts of videos, and I'll catch you next time.